talk about the rainbow without also talking about the reason for its existence, namely the Great Flood. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the story. God, who sees that the world has become corrupt, floods the earth for 40 days, which wipes out every living creature on the earth. The only survivors are Noah, who was saved because he was a righteous man, his family, and a bunch of animals that God asked Noah to put on the ark. And I don't know about you, but this is always a really difficult story for me. I didn't understand what God, who could be all loving and all merciful, could turn her back on the world. The fact is that we're trying to encompass the creator of the entire universe in a 1,200-page book written by 40 different people in 3 languages over 1,500 years. So sometimes a single passage isn't telling us the whole story. When I have trouble understanding or rationalizing a biblical text, I start by looking at the historical context in which it was written. I discovered that many other cultures and religions have a story quite similar to the Great Flood, and each of these accounts tells us information about the people that it came from. The first known record of a story about a worldwide flood is the Mesopotamian epic of Atrahasis from about 1600 BC, which emphasizes a codependent relationship between humans and gods. The Hindu account of King Manu in the Matsya Avatar highlights the preservation of sacred knowledge and the cyclical nature of time. The Great Flood of Gunyu from Chinese mythology points to human agency over fate, living in harmony with nature and dedication to public service. The Great Flood is a story that is told across cultures, across humanity. And I think that this points to a story that is in some ways so crucial that it could not help but to be told 100 times in 100 different ways so that it could reach each person who needed to hear it. So what if we imagine the Great Flood as not a literal play-by-play of a wrathful God, but an Abrahamic story about who God is? What I see through this lens is a God who cares deeply about morality and justice. A God who does not just passively observe, but takes action to protect goodness. A God who, in a period of uncertainty and restlessness, gives us a sign of peace and hope. This is the story of a God that I want to believe in. When I see a rainbow, that is the God that I'm reminded of. And I'm reminded of being queer, and how sometimes it does feel like we're stranded in the middle of an ocean and it's been raining for a month and a half. But there is a promise that we will get through together. I think that the queer community in particular is built so strongly on the stories of those who've come before us, those who've navigated the storm and arrived safely to shore. I'm saying that I'm scared. They're saying, I've been scared too. It gets better. I'm saying it feels like so many people are against me. God is saying, I will help you get through this. I felt this uncertainty countless times. I'm sure that you have too. Storytelling is an incredibly fundamental part of human nature. It is part of how we access what has come before us, make sense of what is happening now, and create dreams for the future. Stories connect us beyond culture and time, highlighting both our differences and our similarities. Each culture's account of the flood varies from one to another, but they are also largely the same. How many millions of people needed to hear and be comforted by what we heard today? We are more similar than we are different. Beyond what separates us from one another, we are connected by the stories that we share. And queer stories are no exception to this. If it was not for those brave enough hundreds and thousands of years ago to begin recording our experiences, how much of this shared ancestry could we have lost? Queer erasure still exists in this century, and it's up to us to keep our stories alive. And it's important to embrace the storm that comes with our identities. Your story, despite how it may differ from others, is a piece in a tale that encompasses queerness as a whole. Keep telling it. At times, it feels like there is torrential rain pouring around us, and it is hard to remember what color the sky is. But God promised us the rainbow thousands of years ago. So I gather up my ark. I call to my community. I ask my elders, how did you get through this? I tell the next generation, we did it together. Let us not ignore the storm nor passively wait it out, but work together for a better future and trust that God will see us